Hey everybody, welcome back to Writing Studies 2. So we have, at this point, we are moving from Module 1 into Module 2. So just to look back really quickly on Module 1, some of the things we did, you introduced yourself, you talked about your writing process as it relates to looking for trouble, and then um, for week 3, we continued with the idea of looking for trouble. But then started thinking about like ideas for research topics that you would be interested in following. And we ended this with an article map proposal, which just asks you for a very, very brief little proposal for an article about an argument related to a topic of your interest, ideally one of the ones you proposed in discussion board 2. Um, my plan is to get you feedback on these proposals very quickly in the next couple of days. If you haven't completed this yet, um, you can still submit this for credit. I'll be happy to get you feedback on it and focus particularly on that proposal part. If you're stuck on the idea of summarizing an argument, put it on hold for a second and focus on the proposal part because um, one thing we're going to work towards as we move into module 2 is thinking about expanding this proposal and this idea of an article map and thinking about argumentation. So submit this if you haven't, so I can give you as much credit as possible for it. Thank you for those who have already submitted. I've started reading through those, and like I said, my plan is to get you feedback as soon as I can. Um, because you're going to need this as we move into module 2, which is all about the idea of arguments, how arguments are structured, how we evaluate them, and then you'll work towards a fuller draft of this first proposal. Depending on what you submitted here, some of you are in much better shape for this than others. You're going to be in a different place, but nonetheless, we'll be working towards a fuller draft of that. So our two readings for this module are Forting's Why I'll Never Apologize for My White Male Privilege and Crossley Corcoran's Explaining White Privilege to a Broke White Person. And then a couple of readings from They Say, I Say. One of the ideas here is that these are two arguments about the same issue, this idea of white privilege, but they come at this from two very different places. These are arguments in opposition, so we get to see how arguments work. Um, and one of the things you're being asked to do is evaluate them. So for our first discussion board, due this week, should have been submitted yesterday. If you haven't yet, make sure you do that. Um, it's a discussion board relating to this first article, Forting's Why I'll Never Apologize. And you'll see the link. It's to a Times um, or a Time magazine opinion piece. Your job is to reverse outline it. So, for example, you'll kind of break it down part by part. In the first paragraph, Forting defines privilege as this. And then Forting argues that he has experienced blank in the next body paragraph. And then in the next body paragraph, he makes it seem as though he's been accused of blank. And you'll kind of do that for the full article. Um, and then just underneath it, respond to it. Do you find it persuasive? Why or why not? Um, what makes it a strong argument? What makes it a weak argument? And then your response, just look through your classmates responses. What do you think? What are our views? And then next week, next Monday, you're going to do a discussion board about the other article, doing much the same thing. Break it down and then decide which of the two makes a stronger argument. Of these two articles about the same issue from different perspectives, which of the two is more persuasive? And then I'm just interested in seeing, what do we think about our peers' evaluations of these? And of course, I've said here, comment on a peer's piece who disagrees with you if you can, if you find one in reading through. And when it says refute one of their pieces of evidence, of course we want to do this respectfully, but there's nothing wrong with having different views about something. And so if you take this a different way, respectfully but clearly, talk about why. So those are our two discussion boards and our two articles. This is the Crossley Corcoran. It's a HuffPost article. So that'll be for next week. And then, of course, a couple of They Say, I Say readings. We'll have another reading quiz, and that's due, as we see in the schedule here, February 5th. And then the other large thing we'll work towards is this article map short draft, which is taking what you submitted last time and expanding this a little bit, revising it, keeping this idea of argument in mind. What you can do is you can remove that proposal section that should have been submitted last time and focus only on the argument summary. And I'm asking you here to go ahead and just revise your argument summary as necessary. Take into account feedback I give you, which I'll be giving you this week, or just thinking you've done as you've worked on this idea of argument over the next couple of weeks. And this full revised draft is going to be due on Sunday, February 12th. So that'll be the last day of Module 2. And just to show you what we'll do with that, you'll submit that. And then as we move into Module 3, we'll actually do a peer review where we'll give each other some feedback on this draft that we'll submit by the 12th. So you did your proposal and summary here. You'll do a fuller revised draft here. We'll do a peer review, and we'll submit a final draft by the end of the month. And that'll be our first major writing assignment. So we're really working on like this idea of a writing process, moving through drafting in stages. We start here, revise, get some peer feedback, and then submit our final draft. So if you're behind, this is the week to kind of get caught up, guys. If you need help, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I'm always happy to talk. If something doesn't make sense, please let me know. I want to help. I'm always here to talk through ideas or think about ways of approaching this. I'm looking forward to reading your work, and like I said, I'll try to get some feedback to you on these proposals as soon as I can this week, and that's feedback you can take into account as you revise over the next couple of weeks. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to, like I said, digging into this with you and talking more about argument. Reach out, email me if I can help. If you want to do a Google Meet or something like that, always let me know. I hope you guys have a good week. I don't know if you have snow where you are. Got a little ice and snow here, so be careful out there, guys. All right, take care.